What's up, guys? I got a video blog for you, man. This was coming from Ethan. He's in Montgomery, Alabama. He writes, "Hey Greg, your site's really helped me believe in myself and that I could be more than I currently am. Your words shook me to my feet and got me going again. And now I'm putting forth the effort to make some of those hard changes in my life. I'm about 2 months in the fight right now, and I'm finding the journey somewhat overwhelming and getting harder and harder to stay the course. I was wondering if you could give me some advice. Or what do you do to stay the course in what seems to be a never-ending journey? I'm sorry I cannot be more specific in exactly what my journey is. I'd rather keep that to myself. But it would really mean a lot to me if you could give me some advice. Hope to hear from you, Ethan, Montgomery, Alabama." Ethan, you're talking about a transformation, a change for the betterment. Where you currently are and what you are doing in your life is either one, unacceptable to you, or now forced to change. Because if you stay on that path, the current path you're on, right around the corner is the biggest nightmare coming to a reality. Your fear is about to slap you in the face if you don't get off the current beaten path you're on. And it's hard. You're finding it, initially it was, you're excited about it, but now it's been 2 months in it. Now the wear and tear is starting to add up on you. The fire inside that kept you going and kept pushing you to initiate that course of action is now being tested. And you're finding that the strength to pursue it is fading. And what's coming in to override that is the adversity, the walls, the failures, the grind, and the wear and tear that it takes to make this change a reality. Fucking expected, my friend. It's supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to be an easy sail of life. No change for the betterment ever is. The reason that you either will make it or don't make it is a mindset. And you ask for personal reasons here. Let me give you one, man. And we're going to get into this because this transformation thing, it couldn't come at a better time. Because right now it's like February. Everyone had those New Year's resolutions or whatever their dream is right now. February is like a shit month of the year. It's kind of cold everywhere. It's kind of like a very slow, stagnant part of the season. There's not much holidays or celebrations. It's kind of like just a very, very slow pulse of life period that we're in right now. And a lot of people are just kind of like wondering what the fuck, right? It's hard to find that intrinsic motivation to keep the fight alive. When I started, way back when I started Ranger School, man, I went into that program in the best shape of my life. If you go straight through it, 70 days. 70 days, that's going to take a little bit of everything you got. Physically, but mostly mentally. You're going into that endeavor, and why do you go into it? Because the ideology of being an elite, of being a ranger, is something that really makes you feel proud if you can be part of that core group, man. So that's the reason you want to change, right? That's the reason probably you're looking at where you currently are and why you want to go into this transformation, because where you currently are is something that is no longer acceptable to your terms. You want more of life. You've been watching some motivational things, maybe, seeing some of the stuff I've said, and somehow it's hit you in a way that, yeah, dude, I want to get there too. I want to do this too. I want more out of my life. I want to make something of my life, right? So that's the ideology that starts the process. Yeah, I want to be a ranger, so therefore I'm going to enter that. That cannot be all it's about. You have to have an overwhelming force of a want, a need, a belief inside yourself that you believe in this. And once that happens, combined with the ideology of where you can be, the end state goal, once that is solidified, then you move forward without ever looking back. When you're moving forward, you're moving to where that greater good is. That person that you want to be, you must already be up here. You must believe it before you embark on that journey. If you don't, what will happen is the old you, the one you're trying to change from, the old subliminal thought processes will arise and start to take over you as the wear and tear begins, as the struggle starts to build up, as the task at hand becomes overwhelming, as the days become weeks and months with still no resolve yet. still going through the work in progress. As that continues to happen, you must have something greater that overrides all that despair to make it through. How do you do that? You shoulder the weakness. Sideline that motherfucker. You go into the endeavor. Ranger school, when I went into it, I knew what I was going into. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew I wanted to be that person at the end of the race, standing strong. I knew that those 70 days of sacrifice will be paid tenfold the rest of my life. And other endeavors, whenever I'm going through something hard in my life, and I'm wondering if I had the intestinal fortitude to get through it, I can go back in time to when I was in Ranger school. And motherfucker, I made it then, I can do it now. It's a different theater of life, but the same fundamental principles of dedication, sacrifice, work ethic, due diligence to oversee the current situation for the betterment of where it's going to go will still continue the journey for me. I go into the endeavor knowing I am going to see the hardships and the headaches along the way. I welcome that. They don't surprise me. I expect them. That's a huge different terminology. Ideology going into an endeavor. I went into Ranger school. I grabbed my bags in the apartment I was living in Columbus, Georgia. I came through the gate at 1:15 or 2 in the morning. As soon as I came through the gate, I got decked from behind by one of the RIs, the Ranger instructors, on my face in the mud. This motherfucker was calling me names and stuff. I must have done 1,000 push-ups before I was even 5 yards into the compound. We started with like 450 some people. By the time the sun came up, 160 were left. Why is that? Why did they quit so fast? Because the ideology of being a Ranger is all they had. That was their driving force. That ideology is just words and thought process. It's not strong enough to combat all the wear and tear it's going to take to transform that person into being that elite person. They went into the arena hoping they wanted that title. They didn't understand the framework of what that title meant. If you understand what it means, you understand how valuable it is, how it's desired upon. Anything that's desired takes everything you have. So you accept that. When I went through Ranger school, I said, 70 days, I'm a prisoner. I'm a prisoner to this situation. I'm going through a sentence that when I get through, I will be that person I want to be. But until I get through that, I am not going to think about the comforts of life. What it's like to actually have sheets and a pillow. What it's like to have food cooked that's warm. What it's like to actually sleep. To have nutrition in your body. To take a shower. To be able to sit on a toilet and after you finish taking a dump, wiping your ass. Those little luxuries in life were no longer present in the situation. For me to think about them would only cause a demise and a weakness for the journey I'm in. I had to separate myself from them. I could not compare where I was to where I once was. I had to look forward saying, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice today for tomorrow's betterment. Knowing that going into it, when I hit all these adversities and all these walls, they weren't shocking to me. They were expected. And when they hit me, I welcomed them. Because I knew by going through them, it would change me to that person I wanted to be. Not the ideology of the person, but the materialistical value, the values internally, the blueprints of success there. I knew that these were all the workings, the ingredients of life for success. They were all little lessons that once mastered would be the lines that formulates the picture of the person I wanted to be. I had to go through them. I didn't want someone to give me something. I wanted to earn the motherfucker. So going into that arena, that endeavor, expecting that, set me up for success. Big difference there. If all I'm doing is hoping to get the goal, the journey will be impossible. You have to understand the goal, the value of the goal, why that is so special. And once you realize the value of it, then you don't mind putting the work to create it. I bring this video blog up right now in my living room. It's a fucking disaster if you look at this thing. The room, I have a vision on how it can be better. Was it okay? Yeah, it was okay. It was good. But could it be better? Yes, it can be better. I always say, guys, if good enough is acceptable terms, tomorrow you will never have enough. Good enough is barely making by. Barely passing the grade. That doesn't leave an impact. That doesn't leave a wake, footprints of success and motivation to follow. If you're barely making it through this level, this journey, this stepping stone, you barely make it. And it's just good enough and you barely make it. Forget about the next step. Good enough can never be acceptable. It's got to be great. This room was good enough. But it could have been better. There's a saying, they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a bullshit saying. That ideology is like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. My terminology is that if the current system is workable, but it could be better, then the system you're currently on is as good as broken. Why wait for a system to break down before you fix it? If it's working, but it could be even more efficient and better enhanced, why would you not put the effort in a moving progression forward to enhance the project? Why would you continue a half-assed journey and wait for it to break down, which ultimately shuts you down, stops you in your current progression, because you have to step back and refix that situation. Once it's moving, fix it. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. It's bullshit. If it can be better, fix it to make it better. If it's okay but could be better, it's as good as broken. A neighbor came by the other day when I'm doing this construction and he's hearing the noise, and he comes walking his dog. This neighbor's a nosy motherfucker. Always, every time he wants to see something going on, he brings those fucking dogs around and comes knocking on the door like he just happened to be in the neighborhood. Bullshit. Nosy motherfucker. I like the guy, but you know, right place at the right time for this guy. For some reason, he's always showing up at the wrong place at the wrong time. He comes in and he's like, hey man, so what you doing here, man? I'm like, well, you know, I'm ripping fucking walls out, man. I got rid of the fireplace and fucking ripped that wall out, moved the doorway, dropped the ceiling down. And he goes, why? Why, man? Why? Well, it was good, man. It was good. Yeah, it was, but it could be better. He didn't understand that. He said, all this detail in the ceiling, man. Well, I don't understand it, you know. It's no one even sees the ceiling. I go, you don't see the ceiling, but for me, man, I'm always looking up. And so when I look up, I want to see some fucking detail. So I put the work in that. I know this project here is about 3 days, man. It's a fucking disaster. There's dust everywhere. The dogs are scared to come in here. There's noise. I'm living in fucking shit. But that's fine. I accept that. It doesn't bother me. Because I'm not living in this. I'm working in this. Living in what it's going to be. The transformation, it will always get worse before it gets better. I started with something that was acceptable. It was okay. It was good. I'm putting work in now, destroying it. It looks like shit for something that's going to be great. Something the neighbor can't quite see. He'll come by in a couple weeks once it's done and polished. And he'll be like, wow, wow. Whoa, I see it now, man. Good job. Looks good now. Isn't that our life? Isn't that our life? One can see a betterment and another can't. So he puts the work in that most people call crazy. They say, what are you doing, man? You're out of your mind. Well, I don't understand what you're doing all this for. You know, that doesn't make any sense. But the person inside believes it. Fuck what they say. I don't care what they think. Their opinion doesn't pay my fucking bills, so why do I give it any value? I'm going to stay the fucking course I believe in. And what I believe in is a transformation in this. All these hiccups, all the sawdust, when I knocked the fireplace out, dealing with the natural gas and the framework of the electricity back there wasn't what I was expecting. But it's nice, because once I did that, I looked at it, evaluated, applied what I've learned in the past in construction to this to find a better solution. And guess what? The framework, the design of it is even going to be more enhanced now. I want a problem now solved into a betterment of what it's going to be. It's going to be cool. I'm learning from it. And don't think that these principles right here in construction don't apply outside this room. When I have problems in relationships, or careers, or anything else. Don't think the problem-solving techniques here aren't equated there. And the same fundamental system of success. Don't think that I look at the dust and everything in here the same way I look at the sweat equity in the gym. The transformation for betterment. Knowing it gets worse before it gets better. Accepting that. Welcoming it, because through that effort is the glue of transformation of something solid that we remembered upon. I don't have to do this. You know, and 2 weeks go by like that. And it'd be the same room. Or 2 weeks goes by, boom. And I have something that I'm proud of. That 2 weeks was spent. I invested 2 weeks. Didn't value that today, but I used it as an investment for later. I gave 2 weeks to something that lasts for years of enjoyment. As I'm sitting down, watching the TV, a new fucking fireplace, and bookshelves and everything else, and that's right. Fuck yeah. I did that shit. That same ownership of pride. The positive confidence of the individual. Taken in every endeavor. Create something through the hard work. Most people sit back and they wargame it forever. And this town of LA is full of these motherfuckers. Everyone with these dreams of what they're gonna do. All the talk, the gander, with no fucking action. Saying they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, they're gonna do that. When do you start to do it, is my question. The value of life, the lessons of life, these building blocks happen with action along the journey. Prior to starting the journey, you decide you're going to do it for the right reasons, and then you get going. You get into it, and you figure it out along the way. You don't sit there at the starting block wargaming and wargaming and wargaming and thinking of every situation and how it might work, how it won't work, how to do this, how to do that. Just sitting there spinning in circles like a fucking Looney Tune. You get going. And you figure it out along the way. When you fall down, you get your ass back up and you keep going. Most people are sitting around and go, well, could do that, and but I'm going to wait for this to do it, I'm going to wait for that to do it, and when this happens, then I can do this, and when I can do this, and I'll complete this first, and once that's done, then I'll go to this and complete that, and then I'll go to this and complete that. It doesn't work that way, guys. Life isn't a book with multiple chapters. It's an overlapping experience, and everything is just a segue into another. There comes a time where you got to graduate class and apply the lessons you've learned. You can't always be a student of life. You can't always be taking notes. Someone's got to go out there and do them to create the subject matter that others study from. You've got to be your own master in your life, creating those moments, those experiences. You've got to realize what is, could be better, and how can it be better. Then you apply those values to it, to create it, knowing it will get worse before it gets better. This transformation here is the same as in the gym. You went in there, yeah, you're good, whatever else, but you're going to rip your body down, hit failure over and over again. You might puke, you might cry, you might sweat blood, sweat and tears in that transformation process. The sweat after the dust and everything else, and the drywall dust and fucking whatever. But eventually, it's sanded, it's caulked, it's painted, it's primed, it's situated, and you're sitting there relaxing. Eventually you come back, you put the nutrition in your body grows better than it was. The room more enhanced than it was. Woke it up one day, went to sleep that night. The person I went to sleep stronger mentally and physically than I woke up that morning. That's a good fucking day. That combines for good week, good month, good year, good life. What you're talking about, Ethan, right now is that you're on a path right now that you believe in. But now it's getting hard and you're wondering if you've got the fucking nuts to ride it all the way through. What you're wondering right there, that weak mentality, is the old you coming back. Don't listen to that. You've got to sideline those thoughts. Kick the fucking neighbor out. Don't let him in your house. Get rid of all these weaknesses. Accept the journey at hand, knowing it's going to be tremendous. But with tremendous effort comes tremendous reward. It's a worthy cause you're on right now. You're not telling me what it is. I think that's a mistake too. You should tell everybody what it is. Let everybody know what's weak about you. Because that's not who you are anymore. Just by saying it. It's right there, you're publicly saying, I'm better than this, I want to move on. I'm not scared of this. This thing is no longer going to be a handicap for me. I'm no longer going to be the servant of it. I'm not going to be the victim anymore. I'm going to identify the problem solve, fix it. Whatever it takes, and override it. When you do that, not only are you a betterment of a person, but you have the belief and the confidence that what the fuck's next? What else can I overcome? And the answer to that question is anything. Anything. But if you sit back and you war game it, and you're not moving forward, and you just, you start thinking, all right, how am I going to do it? Hesitation builds. With hesitation comes fear of failure. What happens if I do fail? Well, right now it's good enough. Everyone thinks I'm good. If I try it and fail, they're going to see my weaknesses. Fuck what they think! Fuck what they think. They're seeing what the truth is. You are weak. You did fail. That's not a problem. That's not a negative. It's identified. It can be fixed. If never identified, never fixed. Once identified, worked on, then mastered. Moving on to the next thing. And the further you go, guess what? All these fucking neighbors will come around with all their dogs, wondering what you're doing, trying to give you, act like you're crazy or something. Or something, what are you doing this for? You're out of your mind. What they're really saying is that they don't have the fucking intestinal fortitude to do it themselves. And they feel weak about that through your success and progress. They don't like that discomfort feeling. The way that they combat that is trying to bring you down. Make you're the crazy one for what you're doing. Makes them feel okay sitting in their good enough home. But then they come over 2 weeks later and they see what that craziness was inside your head. Once in here, now stands in a reality for them to see too. Whoa. Then they go back and sit where they were. It's not so comfortable where that is. But for them to change, they have to go through the same process that you just did. They have to believe that the journey is a worthy cause. They have to accept the transformation down spiral for the greaterment. They have to accept living in shit for a period of time to then live in a palace. Ranger school, I went in there 215, 220 pounds, best shape of my life, just fucking solid. 70 days later, graduated straight through. 163 pounds, man. I was eating food out of the fucking dumpster with mold all over it, thinking it tastes great. Why? Because it did, in a relative sense of where I was. I enjoyed that food. I didn't value the food in my hand to Morton's Steakhouse. That would have been a system of failure. I looked at where I currently was and got rid of everything else and stayed true to the course I was for the period of time that I was a servant of. I was sentenced, I had a prison sentence of change for 70 days. I got rid of everything else in my head. The girlfriends, the family, any kind of problem. I erased them. And just put everything in what I had. And I needed every bit of that strength to make it through. And once I made it through, I tell you what, those other problems I was thinking about weren't so big. It wasn't an issue for me to deal with them. Building blocks. I'll tell you guys, in any transformation, it will always get worse before it gets better. But getting worse, that's where you gotta fall in love. Because that right there is like is a tangible, you can touch, feel, and see progress. That's what I love about this is construction is non-subjective, meaning I own it. No one can take it away or give it to me. I have to build it from nothing. I start with something in here. I put that idea in my hands and I fucking create what I want. That metaphor in this construction process, the same metaphor we do in the gym, it's the same metaphor we do in every theater of life and every endeavor we do. But here's a catchy thing. Ethan, what you're going on, this transformation, if it's something personal and you can't beat that, how the fuck are you supposed to beat the subjective world where you can't control the input and the output? Here I can control everything. And if I'm willing to put the work in, I'll see the results. In the gym, if I'm willing to put the work in, I'll see the results. In life, it doesn't always work that way. You put the work in, you don't always get the results. It's subjective. You can't control all the factors that are in that equation. It takes a little bit more strength to pursue that endeavor. And if you can't change yourself in your own surroundings, you're putting yourself at a serious disadvantage of thinking you can do it in the surroundings of others, where the front of which you're trying to change from is constantly moving. That should not scare you. That should excite you. Because that's what life is. It's always moving. There's no fixed course of action. You go through one path, you learn from it, you evaluate it, your ups and your downs. Everything's a positive. Even in failure, you see the shortcomings to improve that with your effort, to make the universal picture of who you are better. Go on to the next one. You keep on shaking and moving with it. It's like a wave and you're surfing. You just jump that wave and you ride it, man. And you react to it with the strength and the fundamental principles of those character blocks I always say. They'll always stand the test of time. And those things are alive, by the way. It's not a picture you put on the fucking wall. They're living, breathing things, meaning they're perishable. They can die. If you don't continue to use them, continue to exercise them, they will get weak, just like your muscles. If you don't continue to go to the gym, you lose it. Use it or lose it. Your confidence, mentality, your person of who you are is the same person that way too. You must constantly look for challenges in your life if you want to grow and improve the status of who you are. Steady, easy go. Smooth and steady, that society likes because they don't like too much abruption or abrasion in life. Everything is smooth and steady. Smooth and steady is not the way to be remembered. It's not the way to get to your goals. Life is too fucking short for that shit. It's getting hard right now, Ethan. That should be, a tangible remembrance that you're on the right path. You're on the path of change. You're on the path that is going to lead to someone that you want to be. If it was so easy and everything else, you're on the wrong path, man. That should just wake you up every day. Yes, I'm doing something right. I'm on the right path. Go into these endeavors, these changes, these transformations, knowing it's going to get worse before it gets better. Accept that. Welcome that. Just search for that. Because those are the challenges that creates the betterment of who it is at the end. Without those struggles, those pressure plates of life, then there is no molding of the character of who you are into that person. Being a ranger isn't a name. It's a value. You can't go buy it. You gotta earn that shit. In life, if you want to be remembered, you can't go buy that either. You can't be some trust fund baby where mom and dad gave you everything and expect to live a life of fulfillment. No one can give you that satisfaction. You gotta be willing to lose something to gain it. And the process of losing it, the transformation, that process, where you're going for it, that's where you find yourself, man. That's where you really find that you're living. Ethan, that's what you're doing right now, man. You're living. Don't be scared. Don't be thinking it's too hard, man. It's all right. It's never been more right. Don't listen to other people. Their opinions should never value anything in your mind. Those other people really are looking at you, voicing their opinions just because they can't do it themselves. They're weak. And so they're going to tell you stuff like, dude, I don't know why you're doing that. Why are you putting all that detail up in the ceiling? Why are you doing that? Doing all that stuff because as you grow ahead and you get further and further along, you are broadcasting, shining light on their shortcomings. And they don't like that. They were comfortable until you came along and challenged them indirectly. They won't be so manned up, manly to tell you that though. They won't be that honest. They're gonna tell you, man, yeah, you shouldn't be doing all that work. Nah, shouldn't be doing it. You do the work, and then all of a sudden it's done and polished and it looks great, and then it's not a shortcoming for them. It's a fucking mile long coming. I love that feeling, man. I love when the butterflies are there. I love that, that anxiety inside yourself. I love that nervousness feeling, That's where you're like, it's fight or flight. That's life, man. That's the value of life. Life is not, some number in a bank account. That's not success. Success is how you react in those split seconds, those moments of life, where everything's riding on it. You look at these fighters, these pro fighters or people, you go into a situation where the common man's there, and you jump in front of him. He doesn't know how to react, he gets all nervous, all the blood starts pumping, and he almost in a self-paralysis fear state. That's because he's never been in that state. But you take a pro fighter that fights for his life. He's always in that fight. You jump in front of him, he's gonna react and fucking knock you out. The longer you're in a situation, the more enhanced you get with it. I'm not saying you go fight people, but I'm saying that moment of life where everything's kind of riding, the more and more you feel that, where the pressure's on the line, the more you can put yourself in that situation, the greater the good. It's like gambling. It really is. You can sit back home where things are good enough and do your safe bets. Make a little bit of money. Do your safe bets, make a little bit of money. Or you can go for it. Invest it all kind of thing. Go for it all. Believe in it. You're going to make a shitload more. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about quality of life. You can lose it though too. But do you believe in the cause? Is it worthy enough? If it is worthy enough, you have multiple tries of that same endeavor. The outcome is huge. Anyway, Ethan, I hope that helps, man. I think it's a good time to talk about this, guys, because that transformation process, and as I'm going through one in my own room right now, it's the same metaphor of life that we're all going through. One day I'll show you this footage, of how it's going to look, and it's going to be badass. You're like, dude, that is some sick fucking room, but don't remember how it looks right now. No one wants to come over the house right now. The dogs don't come through here. You gotta have like a hard hat on, hard shoes because nails and shit on the floor. This is how it starts. It has to go through this process to get to that status where people are like, wow, that is a fucking sick room. Your life has to go through that too. Ethan, what you're going through is right now, you're in the sawdust phase. Continue to work it, continue to work it. Don't listen to the neighbor coming over wondering why you're doing it. You believe in what you're doing. Continue that course, believing in the worthy cause, the end state of it all, knowing that the pressures and the problems coming are welcoming. Those are the situations that are going to formulate and mold you into the person you want to be. Accept this as the reality. Sacrifice this day for the investment in the future of greatness. That's part of the process of everything in life. The harder it is, the greater the reward. It's all coming to you, Ethan. All I can say is I don't know what path you're on, but I know it's the right path for you. Continue your journey. The benefits and the rewards it reaps is the character, the person you want to be. And it's right there. It's right there. Don't listen to who you were back in the day that allows that subliminal mind to come in, that weakness. Don't listen to that motherfucker. That path that person's on is a worst fear nightmare right around the corner. Right around this corner where you're going right now is everything you want. And it's everything you can have. We can all have it. But few people are willing to go through the sawdust phase of it all to create it. Great play. Thanks for watching.